Hello everybody. This is Alyssa from Ink Arts and Crafts, and today we are here for a WIP and chat. So WIP stands for work in progress chat. While we're going to sit here, we're going to chat a little bit about my week, what I've been up to, all of that fun stuff. And for today's WIP and chat, I was actually in the mood to work on my Witchy Stitcher Nostalgic Tarot cross stitch conversion. So I have not worked on this in absolutely months. It's been sitting on my desk and I have not touched it. So I really want to, I would like to, before the end of the weekend, have this top row done, which is going to be this smaller section here, but this whole area off to the side that you guys won't, I don't know if you can see all of completely. That whole area is basically solid black 310 color blocking. I have 3 massive bags of 310 drills. This is the one I've been working off of, and you can see how, having gone a space of, a pretty good distance already, I've still got only that much of a dent made in this current bag of 310. So we're gonna work on this though. I apparently still have 310 sitting in here. Yes, I do. Look at that. So we're going to work on this canvas here. I have not worked on it in a hot minute, but I was actually really having the itch to do it recently. And I'm also trying to avoid working on the Oraloa canvas that I have sitting on my table right next to me, because it's so much confetti. It's like ridiculous amounts of confetti. So I've been avoiding working on that. So I've been cross stitching for the last couple days, and I've only gotten one more section done on that canvas from I think my last update. So it's been a hot minute, and I have barely touching it, but I'm I really need to finish it. Ideally, I would like to finish that kit before the end of the year. That would make me super happy, so I can go into the new year with kits that'll bring me joy. I do really love the colors of that kit. I'm looking at it and I love the colors. They're beautiful, but it's the confetti that is just taking me out. And I think it's because it's squares. Because I've done other Oraloas that have just the same amount of confetti, and I didn't have that same issue with it. So anyways, we're going to work on the Witchy Stitcher Nostalgic Tarot cross stitch conversion. And we are working on this section right here. So my tools, supplies that I'm using, I have this beautiful Yellow Dog Designs tray from Year of the Snake, which I think was very, very well done. I love it. And then and this is the only large tray that I have is this one, because it works to fit, these massive drills in here. And then in addition to that, I have 3 pens that I have pulled out. They're all Butterfly Effect Wears pens, so they're some beauties. So I have these 3 beautiful Butterfly Effect Wears pens that I'm using right now. Oh, so stunning. These 2 are the same turning, but the grip feels slightly different because they're not identical. And then this one is a slightly different turning. They're all minis, and this is some of my favorite turns are these style. I like the elongated grip right there. So I have 2 with 8 placers and 1 with a 10 placer. Usually I use the 10 placer for the initial row, because I'll do every other to keep the spacing on this 310. And then I go back in with the 8 placer because I have more control when I'm doing it with that. So there are those. I have my Cozy Cabin Wee Wax in the single placing side. And then I don't know if I have Apple Blossom in any of them still, if I took it out, but I think I've got the Eucalyptus Woods putty from Randa's Crafty Corner. And that's what we are going to utilize. Let me see. So this is always the fun part, is getting this all situated and good to go so I can see what I'm doing. One of the biggest things I'm going to start with this outline right here, but half the part of working with a cross stitch conversion like this is being able to, have the pieces exposed that you need exposed. So I've got a couple cover minders that I use to pull the pieces of plastic where I need them. I'm just checking to see how it was cut. I think I'm going to need to trim that a little bit more and bring this one down. So we're going to use this other cover minder right here to kind of peel that back a little bit, so that way I can get to the line that I need right there. So we're going to go ahead and get started. I do need to count so I can know where to place my equivalent drill over here, and that's going to be the easiest way is if I count now. So let me select my symbols on my actual... Oh, come on. Come on. Okay, let's see here. What? There we go. Okay. I was touching things weirdly. So we have 3804 is the color we are working with. So we're going to move the 310 out of the way, and we're going to grab one of my smaller yellow dog trays to work with right here. So that way we can make some progress on this. Ooh, I'm like, it's so dark with that. So I need the bright light, but at the same time, it gives us this hideous glare, which I don't like. And I'm like, no, I don't want the glare. So it'll be weird kind of working with the light off. The colors on this are fantastic. I absolutely love it. So we're going to go ahead and move a couple of our pins out of the way, and we're going to start off with one of these. So I hope you guys have had a wonderful week. It is, I'm filming this on Friday, back into kind of like my normal filming routine. Let me count real quickly and place a drill, and then we can get started into it. Actually, I want to put that drill on this side. So we need to have 61 drills in here. So this is... So 4 to 3, let's see. So we've got 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. So that's our 50. I'm going to put a drill there to kind of hold that as the 50 slot. And we're on 8. Wait, no, I think it was one over. See, I have to count again. So we have 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. And I need it to be 61, so we have 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57. And then we've got 58, 59, 60, 61. So we need to go on the 4. So that, well, actually 61 spaces, so I need to have that there. As I lay them down and before I go into the next one, I will count again. But now I can place those drills over there, knowing that that gives me, well, actually it needs to be right here. So let me recount again. So we've got 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54. That's 54, 55, 56, 57, 60, 61. Okay, good. So that's the trickiest part, is I wanted to make sure I've been like triple checking when I do the openings of each of the cards for that. So that's kind of like the foundation of all of it, is making sure we're accurate right there. So anywho, it is currently Friday. This has been like a busy but slow week at the same time, if that makes sense. I know we've had it's kind of one of those weird weeks, because it's like we're almost into the holidays, so things are starting to kind of slow down, but at the same time we're all like, you know, you got to do all the last minute stuff before we actually roll into full holiday time frame. So it's like slower but faster in a way, if that makes sense, is kind of what I've been having this week at work. But yeah, it's been a little bit of a like an interesting work week for some cases. I know I talked to you guys last week about the my super fun interactions with my with the one sailor that I had, my occupational therapist that works for me, which today was her official like last day, so now I don't have to worry about interacting with her anymore. But it was, oh no, see, I wasn't paying attention. I got to put that right there. So the week started off with, on Monday, my boss comes in and is like, he comes in at lunchtime to talk to me, and he was like, hey, so just wanted to let you know about what happened at the end of last week, because I had told you guys I had briefed him about the whole situation with her, and he was like, just want to let you know what happened. He's like, so he had a meeting with her on Thursday of last week, and apparently, and like he reiterated, was like basically had reiterated, you know, I'm the boss, I'm her supervisor, I dictate what she's gonna have to do and what she works, because, you know, that's my job as her supervisor. Let me count the spacing on this. That's the one thing for doing the conversion is 2, 3, 4. I have to do a little bit more attention to what I'm doing. 1, 2, 4, 5. So I think I can put that one there. Yep, that would make sense because that lines up with that line. But that at least gives me like a stopping point. So let me go ahead and change my color over to that one so I can mark that I just placed those 2 drills. He said, so he met with her on Thursday And he was like, honestly, it could have most definitely gone better. He was like, I he was saying, he's like, I didn't act like I should have. And as professionally as I should have. And she also did not act as professionally as she should have. And he's like, a lot of it at a previous command, he was like, yeah, at a previous command, he had somebody who was extremely narcissistic that he had to work with very closely in they were, the leader over him. And he was like, yeah, her actions and what she was saying and how she was acting, he's like, totally was a trigger and flipped me back to, working with this individual that he had worked with previously. And he was like, so he's like, bad on me for, getting a little too worked up while in the conversation with her. But he was like, basically, he's like, bottom line, he was like, I did reiterate that, you're the supervisor, you dictate what happens, and it's completely appropriate to ask her to stay for, and tell her that she needs to actually be there for, not even a full work day. Not even a full work day was I asking her for. So if you see me reaching up, it's because I'm marking off the drills that I place on my iPad up above me. So he was like, yeah, so I need 2 spaces and then we'll do that. So anyways, as he was talking to her, she was going on ranting about her dissatisfaction, all the same stuff that she had said to me. She basically said the exact same thing and act right at him, and what kind of went into this whole spiel of things. And whereas he was like, because from what I had told, I was completely fine just sitting there, and she was spewing all of her stuff, and then I would, answer her calmly and basically be like, I can't speak to all this stuff that happened early, only the stuff that has to do with me, kind of a thing. So that was something that he was like, yeah, I didn't do very good about keeping it super professional, because she definitely triggered him. But he's like, on the flip side of it, at the same time, how she acted was not the greatest either. And she was super upset. And she's like, yeah, I think she hates me. I don't care, because, it doesn't matter. But yeah, I think she's really upset with me with how he had said things. But apparently she was throwing all of the leadership that she's worked with, so she's been here at the hospital, under the bus, kind of complaining about them and, not good leaders and blah, 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 and saying all of this stuff about everybody that, she has worked for in her 1 year and I think 4 months that she's been there. She hadn't even been there for a full year and a half. And she spent 4 months of that year and a half, not even a year and a half. She spent a good 4 or 5 months of that out on leave or maternity leave. So it was she wasn't even there for that long to have that much of an experience or anything like that. But anyways, so she had been spewing all of her attitude of all of everything to him and everything. And then finally, was like, all right, well, I'm going to go talk to the executive officer about this. So, the executive officer of the entire hospital, who has way more important things to deal with than somebody that's unhappy about being asked to stay until 2:00 in the afternoon. Seriously, that's the bottom line of what it was. Because all this spiraled because I was making her actually work. That's really what the bottom line was. So she continued on spewing her whole, all of that, ended up going to the XO and talking to XO and basically saying all the same stuff to XO. Apparently she was throwing me under the bus because my boss was telling me that, she had, XO came and talked to him after she had left XO's office, and XO was like, yeah, I definitely wanted to get your view of everything, because once she started, everything that she was saying, and once she started talking about, Lieutenant Commander Mank, which is me, and going on about all of how unhappy she was with all of this stuff, and how leadership and blah blah blah. And XO told my boss was like, I know Lieutenant Commander Mank. She's not like what this person was saying. And I was like, so that was kind of one of those things where I was like, oh, I like the fact that she recognizes who I am, because I've worked with her and interacted with her a fair amount. But it's kind of one of those things that when you're like top side leadership recognizes you, it definitely makes you have like this feel good, because I knew the whole situation was kind of like a mess of everything for it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the whole situation was a bit of a mess, just with how she was, how she was acting and everything. So it was kind of cool knowing that my leadership had my back at all levels in like the decisions that I had made and how I responded to the whole situation. So that was one of the good things. So needless to say, I do not have to worry about this individual anymore, because we have like this, we have a group chat thing on our, like, an app that we use to communicate within like the department. And it's one of the, we can do all of our communications in there. And, when you leave, typically people will like leave the chat and everything else. Oh, yeah, that was in the right spot. Okay. But this is one of those things where I had told her that, because today was like her last work day, I'm like, you can leave early today. I don't expect you to stay until 2. You can leave when you're done with your checkout stuff, because she's going to be gone for a week of vacation. And then she comes back in after the holidays to have like her official stamp where you have now left the facility. She's doing that after the holidays. So she has to come back that day. So it's not like she's completely escaped and free and gone or whatever. But so technically, she still technically belongs to me for another week, another week and a half or so that I have to deal with her for. But apparently she was like, well, she put like a thing saying a final farewell, saying goodbye to everybody in the group chat, and then immediately left the group chat. It was like she didn't even leave a chance for anybody to like say goodbye back to her or anything. It was just like, I was like, oh my gosh. I'm like, good riddance. I'm glad she's gone. But I'm like, I know the people that she's going to. Oh, I know who her boss is going to be for where she's heading. And I'm like, yeah, she's not going to get away with, it's not going to be what she thinks it's going to be. And she's not going to be able to get her way what like she's hoping she will when she gets to her new location. Because I know her boss. Her boss is awesome, a phenomenal leader, and is somebody that will not, won't take any of her crap or deal with any of her stuff. She's not going to be able to get away with any of it once she wants to try and thinks that she'll be able to get away with. Yeah, that's not going to happen. And that's definitely not going to fly when she gets out to where she's headed next. Because again, I've worked directly with the boss that she's going to have is actually the boss that I used to have when I was out there. So that's something like it's not going to be all sunshine and daisies if she tries to act like she did for me. Oh, that's not going to go over well at all. Because I'm a little bit nicer than, like, and more tolerant of stuff like that than her new boss will be. Her new boss is not gonna let her get away with any of it. But anyways, so that's kind of like the conclusion of that whole situation. I figured I'd let you guys know. Like the part that just killed me is that she was so upset about how she was treated by like in the department when we let her do what she needed to do. And it was like all of these grievances that she had. She was so upset about it that she wanted to take it all the way up to the second in command of the entire hospital. That's the part that like kills me. I'm like, I would never cross my mind to be like, I'm upset about something. I need to go talk to the second in command of the entire hospital. She would have probably gone to the commanding officer if he had not been, like out. But I'm just like mind blown, absolutely mind blown. I'm like, wow. So I'm glad, like, it's like on the clinic side of everything, it's like we are definitely going to miss having her because we need her there on the clinic side of everything. And her replacement doesn't have orders yet to show up, so we don't even know when her replacement is going to get there. So on the clinic side, I'm really wish that we hadn't been losing her early, but on like a leader side of, knowing and having to work with people, I am really glad that she's gone and I don't have to work with her and her attitude anymore. That makes me super happy. So that's kind of like the conclusion of that. In separate news, let me see, 1, 2, 3. We got a little bit of like a happy present today. so basically, let's see. So I guess it was technically Thursday afternoon. Let's see, space and then 2. It was technically Thursday afternoon. The president had announced that he was doing December 24th and December 26th as federal holidays this year. So normally it's like we typically get the federal holiday off. And then if you're lucky as active duty military, you'll get like the day after, like either the day before or the day after. So you have like a 4-day weekend. So I was, but I'm at a hospital, so you have to work, you have to see patients. So I was actually set to work on the 26th, the day after Christmas. So I would get Christmas Day off, and then I would have to work the day after Christmas. Well, what's kind of awesome is, I think placement wise, where am I at? This is where I have to count and see, am I doing this right? This goes to there, to there. Yes. Okay. I'm always like, okay, gotta double and triple check with this one, because this isn't going to be something that's forgiving or anything like that for this canvas, this one that I'm working on. So anyways, last year, the president last year had given us an additional, no, that's the adhesive, Mochi. You can't come there. That's my iPad. Thank you. You can't get in the way right now. Now I have dirty paw print on my canvas. See that? That's Mochi dirty paw that she just left on my canvas. No, you're not coming back over here, Momo. No. So last year the president gave us like that extra day as the federal holiday, which is great for like all the people that like work for the hospital, because then they don't have to worry about they don't have to worry about let's see, I want that one there and that one there. They don't have to take like that day off or anything. They just, with using vacation time, they actually get the day off. Well, this year, because Christmas falls on a Thursday, which is such an odd time for Christmas. So it falls on a Thursday, and so the president actually went ahead and we're going to work on some 310 now, so to start filling in some of this. So the president went ahead and actually declared that this year we will have the 24th, Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, which is already a federal holiday, and then the 26th, which the day after Christmas, which if you're in Canada is Boxing Day, but we don't do that in the US. So all of that, so those 3 days are considered a federal holiday this year, which I was like, that's awesome, because now I don't have to work Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday. And I'm like, oh my gosh, that is awesome. I am super happy about that. So that was super exciting because, but then on the flip side, that means that we have to sit there and we have to, call and reschedule all of the patients that were scheduled for those days to be seen on, Wednesday and Friday, because we were still expecting to work and see patients. So we do have the front desk has a lot of work to do rescheduling patients. They got a bunch of them, I think contacted everybody or made good progress on contacting everybody today. And then they're going to have to, call the rest of them on Monday. But for the patients that are active duty, they're not going to be surprised because, federal holiday and everything. But that's kind of like where that was kind of like the really happy thing that happened today. So I went from, not thinking I was going to have any actual, really a long weekend. It's always annoying when you get a day off, then you have to go back to work, and then you get 2 days off, and not really getting a chance to enjoy, the long holiday weekend. Well, I don't have to worry about that this year. I get the actual, a 5-day weekend, and I'm like, that sounds so amazing. That just sounds so amazing. And my parents will be here for, I don't know how long of it they'll be here. They're definitely probably go home on the weekend. I think they're leaning towards coming over on Tuesday, and then they'll probably head back home on Saturday, or whatever. I don't know when they're heading back. It depends on how much time off my dad wants to take from work, because this is winter time, so it tends to be one of his busiest times. So it really just depends on that, because, they're coming over. They're going to spend Christmas here at my house, because I was originally planning on having to work on the 26th. So we planned so that they could come over here and spend Christmas here, so we could still have Christmas together, because otherwise I wouldn't be able to, have Christmas with them with only having the 1 day off, and then having to work the next day. But that's a moot point, because now I got a full 5 days off, and I'm like, oh my goodness, that sounds glorious. So glorious. That's fantastic. So now this is when I'm working on the big, massive color blocking sections. like for this that you see here, when I'm working on these big color blocky sections, what I do is I found after I did like a first section this big of 310 in the far corner over there, I found that I actually needed to do the lines like this, because then I can make sure that every other line has the good alignment and is lined up well to the square that it's supposed to be in. And then I just snap the other, like the additional drills down in between with a smaller. I use the 8 placer to do that. But if I try to do them all like right by each other, there ends up being just enough space in between them that it throws off the alignment. So that's something that I ended up discovering as I was working after my first section. I'm like, okay, this is where like the spacing is just slightly off because I'm too far away from my canvas, so I can't quite see what I'm doing the easiest because it's so far above me, and I like to have it like right all up in my face, especially when I'm working with no light on, because that gives a really horrendous glare for you guys. So I'm trying to do this, and normally, and like it's such an awkward placement. This first section is so awkwardly placed, but I'm really kind of like looking forward to being done with this first section, so that way I can like kind of target. I'm debating. I was gonna do like the whole border first, and I'm contemplating if I still want to do the whole border first, or if I'm going to, instead of doing the whole border of like all of this with all that 310, if I'm just going to work in rows. Because now that all of the cards have been released, I could technically start into filling in some of the cards. But it's like, do I want to do them like that, or do I want to fill them in the order that they were actually released from Witchy Stitcher? I have not decided. So we'll see. Once I kind of, I'll make that decision once I come down and finish here. I'm leaning towards, for ease of making sure everything like works out and is lined up correctly, I'm actually leaning towards doing my original decision of doing the border first and then getting into the contents. And I kind of like that thought of like, you know, that's the reward for pushing through on the border, is being able to enjoy the contents and do those kind of like leisurely, because those will go quickly. They're gonna be so much fun to do. Oh my goodness. So anyways, that's kind of like my plan for this, is to do that. And then now that I've got that little bit of a space, I'm actually going to add some more drills into my drill tray because I'm running a little low. So this is where I literally just take and I pour some 310 into my container or into my tray. But anyways, where was I at? Yeah, so that's kind of like what's been going on. I'm super, super excited for like this long weekend coming up. And on top of that, we've got, what are you up to, Momo? On top of that, I'm already planning, I'm doing the, there's a Florida Sparkle Squad, which is like a group here in Florida on, Facebook. They're having a retreat, like a little, we do like a little one-day retreat, because there's a fair amount of us that are here in Florida. So that we have a one-day retreat planned in February, and my mom and I are going to go to that. We're going to do Christmas together. I still don't know what I'm getting my parents or my brother, because they have not gotten me their Christmas lists. They asked for, like, my mom put out the call in our family group chat saying, hey, I need Christmas lists from everybody, and then proceeded to not send her own Christmas list, Mother. So, Mother, if you are watching this, you need to give us your Christmas list. So, like, we're literally getting down to the wire here. If you want me to get you something, then you better, you know, give us the list and get us a Dad's list, because we need to know what Dad wants too. And then my brother needs to also give me his list. But for my brother, it's easy enough. If nothing else, I'll just get him like a Steam gift card or something like that. So that way he can buy the gaming stuff the games and stuff like that he wants right from Steam himself. So because that's usually what I end up doing, is just getting him that gift card, which is a royal pain in the butt to buy a gift card for Steam. So I may just be like, here, I'm transferring money into your account, go spend it on Steam stuff. Because if you guys were here like last year, or like whatever, what is when I ranted about how much of a pain in the butt it was to try the process I had to go through to be able to, you know, give him a Steam gift card, because you can't just buy a Steam gift card unless you go into like a brick and mortar store. And I'm not about to go into a brick and mortar store because that's silly. Why would I do that? We had a holiday party at work Thursday afternoon for the department, and we did like a white elephant gift exchange and played some random games, then had a potluck and all this stuff, which I made this like crock pot mac and cheese that I made for our Thanksgiving potluck. And I made it for my parents for Thanksgiving dinner. And I have got to tell you, that is like my new go-to to take to any like work potlucks or anything else, because it's so easy and simple to make. And it's so delicious, and it's a huge hit, and I never end up having any leftovers, which is perfect because then I don't have to worry about, you know, trying to, you know, get the leftovers home and all of that rigmarole. So it's like perfection when it comes to that. I have to squeeze these drills down a little bit. See, this is the thing. It's like, it's not that they're too tight or anything. It's just because I have to place them perfectly because it's such a big swath of color blocking. So I have to be very conscious and really force the drills down. And that's why I do them like this instead of like my normal method of color blocking, which is like which is basically all one row, one row, one row, one row. Now I have to do every other row to get it to actually sit well and sit properly. So it's kind of tedious. At least when I'm up into this top part. Once I get down to here, it's a lot easier because that's the section where it's like I can actually see properly and reach the right way. But right now I'm up in like those far reaches that are harder to get at, and also my light is off, so I can't see like I normally would be able to. But anyways, we're making progress. We're getting at it. It's very slow going though, which is why I think I've held off on it for a little bit, because it's definitely a little bit slower going. We're gonna let that little guy go. It's a little slower going than I'm used to as far as, you know, how fast I work. So, anywho, yes, so Wednesday night, so the party was on Thursday. I had already picked up the ingredients that I needed for making my crock pot mac and cheese. I had already picked up that stuff from, what are you doing? What? No, you're weird. So I had already picked up all of the stuff, so all I had to do, but I still had to pick up a gift for the party. That was what I had to pick up, was a gift for the gift exchange that we were doing. And I was like, okay. So I just went to the exchange on my way home from work on Wednesday evening. I was like, I'll run in there real quick, get something, and then, you know, because they'll have random holiday gift things, I'll get something and be good to go. So I was going to do that, and I was like, oh yeah, and I'll pick up a bag and, you know, grab a bag from there, like a gift bag to put stuff in, because I don't know where my bag of bags is. I think for, you know, those like present bags. So I didn't know where that was. So I was like, I'll have to pick up a bag. I'll grab that, get the gift, and then, you know, be good to go. Well, there were so many people in the store. I just beelined it to what I was thinking about for the gifts. Ended up buying something totally different, but I was, you know, grabbed it, walked up to, it's basically the farthest part of the store, grabbed it, and then walked back up. And I was like, there's too many people in here. It's too much chaos. I'm not even going to bother trying to find the bags in this store. We're just going to call it a day, because I avoid going into, you know, brick and mortar stores unless I have to. So I'm like, we're just going to call it a day. So I picked up the stuff, the gift, and I think I ended up getting like a little, like one of those little mini bundt cake makers. I was like, that's kind of fun. So I grabbed that. Ugh, I hate having to pop drills down. I know you guys, a lot of people really like the popping drill sound. I don't. I don't like popping the drills down. I don't like the sound. I don't like the feel. I don't like the effort it requires. Not something I enjoy. So, yeah, tediousness. So anyways, picked up that, and then I like on my way out of the store, I'm like, okay, I just braved a brick and mortar chaos of all the holiday people, like the holiday line when checking out. So I was like, I need something like comfort food for dinner. So I ended up stopping on the way out after I did the checkout. I went out into like the food court and ended up getting Panda Express from the food court. So had that, had the party at work, which was yesterday for me because I'm filming on Friday. And the party went super well. It went great. Party went great. I had a blast. It was fun. And then, you know, Friday today is when we found out that we were going to have that nice long weekend next week, which everybody was super happy about that because that's like, you know, 2 extra days off for everybody, which is awesome. So we were all super pleased about that and getting that information. And then it's just a matter of, you know, prepping and figuring out the rest of the rest of the week and planning for Christmas and all of that, which is crazy that we're like less than a week away from Christmas now, you guys. I don't even know how to, like, what to do about that because I am not ready. I have not prepped in any way, shape, or form. I have to clean my house because it's a pigsty and I don't want my mom seeing my house a mess like it is. She's seen it in worse shape than this, but, you know, I want to at least clean it and make it look presentable before they get here. And then on top of that, you know, all the things. And then I have to, you know, I should probably go charge some. Well, my dad's probably going to bring all his tools, so moot point. But that was something that I'm like, if my dad, he's bringing some tools. I have tools. He has way more tools, obviously. Because part of what we're doing when my parents come over is fixing my kitchen sink, i.e. redoing the plumbing from my kitchen to my sewer connection. So we have to do that because I haven't been able to use my kitchen sink since like May timeframe, and I've just been waiting for my dad to have the time to pop on over so that we can fix it. I probably could have done it myself, but I would rather just wait until my dad got here. So if that means that I just don't use the kitchen sink for a hot minute, well, I just don't use the kitchen sink. So that's what I've been doing, just not using the kitchen sink. So, anywho, that will be getting done this week coming up, which I'm excited about. And I only have to work on Monday and Tuesday, which is like, oh my goodness, makes me happy. So 2 days only of work, woot! And then I will have Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday off. It's gonna be fantastic. It's like, I'm like, okay, because I was actually just thinking, I was like, you know, I'm kind of feeling like I need a little bit of a break. It's been a hot minute since I've had a day off anywhere beyond, you know, just our little holidays. I'm like, I feel like I'm ready for a break. And guess what? I'm getting the break that I wanted, which I wasn't expecting to get for Christmas. I'm actually getting a nice little Christmas break. So yay, that's exciting. So anywho, that's basically been like the work life rigmarole of everything. Beyond that, I'm trying to think what else. Yeah, so that's basically been that. Haven't really been doing much else other than that. I've finally received all of my Black Friday canvases, minus the 2 that I ordered from Jaded Gem Shop. But I got the rest of my Black Friday orders, plus my summer Jaded Gem Shop orders arrived this week. So I'm like looking at my pile of canvases that I've received this month, and I'm like, oh my goodness, that's a lot. And it's like, at the time, it didn't feel like I was buying a lot, but once you get it and it all comes in, and that's why I do that. I keep all of my canvases set off to the side so I can like look at them all in one go at the end of the month, because it's a good like wake up of like, okay, the pile's getting big. Do you really need this or no? And usually the answer is no. So I'm like, ugh. Anywho, I've got all of these canvases sitting over to the in front of my closet over here that I've received this month, and I'm like, I have to rearrange my closet for the big canvases so those big squares will fit in there better. The rounds are like the small ones, and then the rounds are fine because those go on my tower shelf out here in the main part of the room, not inside the closet. So those definitely have room for. It's the big ones that I need to rearrange my closet to be able to optimize my storage better. And I'm not looking forward to doing that. That's going to be a bit of a headache to have to do. It's kind of one of those things where I know I need to do it, so I'm going to do it. But at the same time, I'm like, do I really want to do this? Not really, but I'm going to. But anywho, yeah, I've got to do my closet, rearrange that at some point. Maybe I'll do that on like the long weekend. Maybe not. My parents are going to be here. Maybe I'll do that over like New Year's weekend as like a fresh start for the year, because then I'll have already gone through the canvases that I received. But looking at those canvases, I'm like, okay, this is really, there's only very few kits that I will purchase now until I can get this hoard back under control. One of those being Yumeis. I will buy my Yumeis. So I'm like, I have so much. I do not need any more. We are not purchasing any more because that's a lot that are sitting over there. So anyways, I actually am pretty pleased with myself, because with the Diamond Art Club releases that they showcased this week, there's 2 that I want. One of them being the Geneva, of course, because I mean, it's a Geneva and it's stunning, and I love Geneva's work, and it's beautiful. And then there is the that landscape with the little dragon in it. Oh my goodness, that is like my dreamy landscapes that I love. It's a dreamy like Asian mountain style landscape, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I love it. I have to have that. I might even take the dragon out of it and just keep it as like a landscape. But I'm like, no, I cannot buy it. I can put it on my wish list, but I cannot buy it. And I actually was like, you know what? I'm going to wish list the Geneva too. So I'm actually planning on wish listing both of those canvases for like, instead of purchasing them. And I'm like, yes, because I do not, like, I have so many that I will not miss not having those in my hoard right now. And they can go on my wish list, and, you know, I can snag them at some point. Maybe next time they come back into stock, I will actually have made enough of a dent on my hoard that I feel like I can comfortably purchase again. So we will see. We will see. So anyway, that's where I'm at on that front, where I'm like, okay, I need to be really strict about this, because there's a lot of kits over there. So that's something that I'm like, but I'm pleased because I don't feel like I'm like completely happy with my plan to wish list these canvases, and I don't feel like I'm missing out or anything by my plan to wish list. Because sometimes you're like, when you wish list something, even though you really wanted to buy it and not wish list it, you kind of have that, like, you're almost like regretting it in a way. I definitely do not even feel that. I'm like, you know, I feel perfectly content knowing that I'm going to be putting those on the wish list and not actively purchasing them today. So I also really need to go through my wish list and do a full scrub of my wish list and be like, okay, is this something that I actually want? It's been on my wish list for a while. Is it a keep or go? So I really need to go through and narrow down that wish list, because some of them are ones that have been in stock. So I'm like, okay, do I really want it? If it's come back into stock and I have not purchased it, do I really want it? So I need to kind of go through and be brutal about it with the wish list. I don't even have that many on my wish list. It's only maybe like 30 or so, but yeah, that's my plan. I'll maybe try to do that before the new year, so that way I can, you know, starting with a clean slate, even with like the things that I want on my wish list. I did snag the Earl Grey dragon that came back into stock this past like week or so. The Cassidy dragon. I have Hibiscus dragon, and I wanted the Earl Grey dragon. So I did actually snag that one, and Blushing Moon by Molly Harrison, because that one, I kept like missing it on restock, and it's, I think, probably one of my favorite little Molly Harrisons that I've seen. So that one, I did snag the 2 of those, and then those are like the last 2 kits from Diamond Art Club that I'm waiting on to arrive. And then I will, yeah, and then I'll be good unless they release more Yumeis. Please no. Yes, but no. No, don't, no, not right now. We can hold off on some Yumeis for a little bit. But yes. And with my Yumeis, actually, I did not get my Yume that I wanted. I did not get the Yume in my mystery box, unfortunately. I was honestly not surprised, because I don't normally have the greatest luck with boxes like that. You do not need to step on the come on, move your carcass. You can't. No, I'm not holding you well. No, I cannot hold you like this. This is not hold mochi position. Move. We're not going to rest in the middle. Move. Thank you, little butt. Mochi, just chill right there. You have a well, I covered your basket up. Here you go, Mom. You can sit in your basket. There's your basket. Go in your box. You go in your box. Go lay in your box, Momo. No, not on, seriously? You just like to put those paws right directly on the sticky every time, right on the sticky little thing. She's like, but Mom, and I'm like, oh, Momo. So yes, Mochi is now supervising, in case you couldn't tell from the little cat head chilling right there. So we are making slow, steady progress on this. I'm definitely not going to finish this whole section just because I'm moving so slowly with it because of like the degree of preciseness I have to be with the placement for this. It'll be a lot faster when I get into each of the cards. Those will go a lot faster because then I'll be able to, like, I won't have to worry about, you know, as much about placement. This is so big. I'm being very, very precise. I'm trying to make sure it's placed, and it's such big swaths of color blocking. I won't have to be that slow and conscientious when I can work at like more of my normal pace when I'm coming down into the body of the conversion into the individual cards. So, yay. Anywho, let me go ahead and switch back over to this one, and we're going to start doing some vertical columns. So, yes. So, anywho, I wonder if has anyone else ever thought of what they want to do for the new year, if they're going to have any specific diamond painting goals for the new year or anything like that. I'm contemplating. I feel like I should probably put together, like, okay, this is my goal, this is my plan, and that way I can, you know, kind of be held accountable to it by, like, when I do my WIP and chats, be able to check in every week and be like, okay, this is the progress I've made, this is where I'm at, or nope, did not make any progress. But it's kind of like a little bit of that accountability, I think, by, you know, doing, talking about what my goals will be for the new year for diamond painting wise. So I'm thinking of doing that, like putting together a video of that. I know other creators have done that, I think, in previous years for sure, probably. I think it's something that's fairly common, but I've never actually done it. I've never actually been like, these are what my diamond painting goals are for the year. I've never sat down and like contemplated or made any goals. So I'm like, maybe I should this year and see, like, be like, okay, like I want to finish all of, you know, maybe finish all of my non-rainy day 2023 diamond paintings or whatever it is that I have as my goal, and then kind of plan out, okay, got to work on these kits and all of that stuff. So I'm thinking of doing that and kind of making that plan. I do like to have the spontaneity of, you know, being able to work on whatever I want, but that's always going to happen. Like, I mean, I pulled out and kitted up a bunch of kits knowing I was going to be working on a bunch of my older kits, and then I grab a bunch of my small little snacky size ones to go in between. And the snacks tend to be like, doesn't matter when I purchase those. Those are kind of like my palette cleansers in between some of the older canvases that I have. So like I did a little palette cleanser in between. Like, I normally wait until I finish a big canvas and then do a palette cleanser mini canvas and then go start another big canvas. But right now I have a lot of WIPs going on, way more than I normally do, because I've got the Oraloa as a WIP. I've got Naughty Space Void as a WIP, because I actually started a section on, I have, one section done on Naughty Space Void. I need to do another section. But I have, oh, good girl. She just laid down in her box. Yay, good baby. So I have a section done on Naughty Space Void, and then I have 2 small sections, well, small for me sections, done on my Treasure Quest custom car canvas from my mom, which is Mountain Temple is the name of that canvas. And then I have, that one's got a tab on it, so we're going to pull this drill out. I need to roll all of that down. So I got a section done on the Mountain Temple. I got a 2 sections done on Mountain Temple. I got a section done on my canvas from so Mountain Temple, Naughty Space Void, and then I have my cross stitch conversion. This one, obviously, that we're working on right now, but then I have my Flossie, which I need to finish the section 5. That'll be like, that's something that if I start it in the evening, I will finish it. That if I start it like in the evening, I'll finish it that same day, typically, because those sections don't take me a horrendously long time to do for those, which is nice. So that drill looks weird too. this drill. Yeah, no, it's a weird drill. We're pulling it. There. So those are, and then I also have the Oraloa going. So that means I technically have, what, 5 WIPs? And then I also was working on like a small canvas that I just worked on in between. So that was technically the 6th canvas that I had going, which for me to have 6 WIPs is crazy. But in a way, I don't really count my cross stitch conversions like these ones like this that are stitch alongs or like big projects, because I expect them to be something that takes a lot longer. So these ones aren't counted in the same, like, the same way. Okay, why are you not sticking very well? Because it's a weird drill. Okay, let me replace a 3804. I need to put a drill there because that drill was weird. So there's drill. So anyways, yeah. And this is what happens when I don't have a light to see. There we go, that feels better. When I don't have a light to see how my placement is looking or anything like that, I go way slower. If I wasn't doing my WIP and chat and I was able to work on this without having to talk at the same time, I would definitely have already basically gotten all of this done. I would be done to here basically, at least, easily. But obviously that doesn't happen when I'm doing WIP and chats because I'm working so slower. But this is one that's easier for me to work on as a WIP and chat because it's such a big swath of color blocking right now, versus if I was doing my flossy, I would have to be like spending a lot more time focusing with that one because, you know, it's a much more detailed in that section compared to where I'm at right now, because I'm in the color blocky long slog with all the 310 section right now. But I'm getting there, and we're finally, I feel like I'm finally seeing like an end in sight to this row because I'm almost over here to the edge. It's like I'm in like the last foot of canvas to go over here, and then I'll have that big swath of 310 to do down the side like this, basically from like all the way down. It's like a solid probably 18 inches or so that I will have for 310 moving down the side. It's quite a bit. It's quite a bit. All right, let me finish these 2 drills. I think we're getting close to time. This might end up being just a shorter WIP and chat because you guys know how it is. I don't know if I'm going to have next week's WIP and chat. It depends on how things are with like my parents here, and if when they decide to leave. I probably will not have my WIP and chat up for Saturday next week. It will probably go up on Sunday. This weekend, it's like I'm doing my WIP and chat today, and then of course my daily Advent videos, which I only have like 5 days left on those, which is crazy. And then once I finish, and then I also have to film tomorrow, I have to film my Christmas premiere video. And mine is actually premiering on Christmas Day. I want to say, I have to double check, but I think it's at like 2 in the afternoon Eastern Standard Time on Christmas Day, which is like a perfect time. Last year I was in the middle of the night, and it was so tedious for me to be awake in the middle of the night like that. It was fine when I was in the middle of the night Eastern Standard Time, but I was in California because that was like, you know, that was easy because of the time difference. But this year, yeah, so I actually ended up trading with somebody to get the time slot that I had, which actually works perfect for me because now I'm in the middle of the day, and that's easy to do. So I'm excited about that. All right. How many drills? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Do I have the right number here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Good. I was just making sure I had the right spacing in between this line and that line, and I do. So we're good on that front. All right. So let me place just a few more drills and finish this row, and I think I will call it. But anyways, yeah, I have to film my Christmas premiere tomorrow. I was going to film it last weekend, and then I don't even remember what happened or anything like that. Did not get it filmed last weekend, but I am filming it tomorrow because I'm actually like saying, because I'm doing a brush painting like I've done the last 2 years. And it's like, I have to be in the mood to paint. I can't just be like, okay, I'm going to sit down and paint right now. No, I have to actually be in the mood to paint before I can do a painting. So anywho, we're going to call that good for today. That's what we got done. So basically we started like right over, we basically started over here with these guys. And we have completed all the way. So we've made it like a decent little chunk. We've done that, the pink. And then we've got some of the white border done there. We have a dirty mochi paw print. So I'm pleased. We made some decent progress on it. And I will cover it back up, and I will probably continue working on it. Leave it uncovered, but put the release paper back over. Or not the plastic. You get what I'm saying. I'm going to pop that back over to give myself a little bit of a break from it to edit this video. But I will probably continue working on this weekend. That actually kind of sounds like appealing to work on it this weekend and knock out this. And for it, I'm going to bring you guys over so you can see we're close to the end. That's how close I am to the side over here. So we're almost there. Granted, this whole section, because now that I'm finishing the white right here, now that the white is done, or the 3865, the rest of that is solid 310. And that's what I'm saying is going to be the most tedious part. This top shelf, this top area is the worst for the top row. And then we'll have a significantly less when it comes to the sides. Once I get down past this first card, when we get into the second row, it gets a lot less 310. So I'm looking forward to that. I just have to kind of like push through and do this portion, and then I can go into the next stuff. But anyways, that's all I have for you guys for today. I hope you guys enjoyed today's WIP and chat and getting to see me work on my conversion that I haven't touched in forever. So getting to work on that with all of our pretty colors. It does have some beautiful colors in it. I do really like the color palette on this. That's one of the things that really drew me to it. It was this stunning color palette in these colors here. So anyways, that's all I have for you guys today. I'm going to go ahead and let you guys go, and I will see you guys in the next video. Have a great day, everybody. Bye.